It is April 1st, and that can only mean one thing. It has been 6 months since I started learning to cook British food. Today, I am going to revisit Toad in the Hole, but this time, I'm gonna get it right. Starting with these gorgeous Luck of the Irish Garlic sausages. Instead of flour, I'm gonna be using this Bizquick baking mix to help give it a nice light and airy structure. It should give it a good rise. And to ensure that the eggs are evenly mixed and well incorporated, I'm going to be using this liquid egg replacer. For the onion gravy, last time I didn't cut the onions finely enough and I didn't cook them down enough. So this time I'm gonna bypass all of that and use this onion soup mix to make the gravy. That should be an interesting experiment. And last time I served mushy peas with it, which was apparently completely inappropriate, but I know now that mash is the way to go. So I will be making some proper mashed potatoes and having them all together. Let's dive right in. April Fools, I really am going to try to make the best quality Toad in the Hole that I can. And I will be using recipes from the British Cookbook because this was written for people outside of the British Isles to help them make the most authentic recipes that they can. So I want to start with the Lincolnshire sausage. When I say that I want to make an authentic Toad in the Hole, and then I pull out this tube of American breakfast sausage, it might make you question me a bit, and that's valid. But this is just ground pork meat with some mild seasoning in it. It's a good base to start with to make my own Lincolnshire style sausages. So I'm adding 41.5 grams of breadcrumbs into that. This is going to help give it a more authentic texture to what you would get in Britain. Now I'm just taking fresh sage and chopping that up really, really fine. And I'm going to add that into the sausage meat. This should give it that really nice, fresh herbiness of a good quality Lincolnshire sausage. So just mix these all together. Use my hands, it'll be easier. This should be a really close approximation of what a Lincolnshire sausage is supposed to be. And it smells delicious. Now I want to take this and divide it into 6 equal portions. So if I left these in big balls, I don't think they would rise properly with the Yorkshire pudding. So I am going to shape them into sausage shapes. No comments from the peanut gallery. I haven't quite got up the nerve to try stuffing sausages into casings yet. That'll have to be a goal. Okay, 6 Lincolnshire sausages, and I didn't have to go to a pricey butcher to get them. I'm gonna let them in, put them in the ice box to hang out. Moving on to the Yorkshire pudding, I have 350 milliliters of full fat milk here. I'm gonna add 4 eggs into that. And I'm just being careful that I don't get a bloody yolk to ruin everything because this is the last of my milk. And I don't wanna have to run to the store. And I'm just using some Amish eggs because I think these are really good quality. They taste really fresh. At this point, I'm gonna mix these really well to get a nice even consistency. And in this large bowl here, I have 225 grams of plain flour. I'm actually using cake flour. This is not a baking mix. This is just flour, but here in the States, our all-purpose flour has more protein, more gluten than you get from plain flour in the UK. So this is just flour, but it is more like the UK plain flour than American all-purpose flour is. That's why I'm using it. I'm also gonna add like maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard powder in here. That was recommended. I just wanna blend that in really well. So now I'm going to gently whisk the egg and milk mixture into the flour, being careful not to overmix it. Now we have a controversial element here, to rest or not to rest. I've seen recipes that say both, and Lord knows I got a lot of comments advocating either way. This recipe does say to rest it for 4 hours. I looked through the Delia Smith cookbook. She didn't have a recipe for Toad in the Hole per se, but her Yorkshire pudding, she just basically says you can make it and set it aside until you're ready to cook it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make it and set it aside till I'm ready to cook it. And I'm also not putting this in the ice box. I'm leaving it out at room temp. Starting with the mash, I feel like the basics aren't much different, whichever country you're in. For the onion gravy, I have 400 milliliters of beef stock, and I'm just making that from this Better Than bouillon. Now I need to cut up some onions, and I did go to an Eastern European grocery store and get some onions that are a lot more like what you would have in Great Britain. From what I understand, the reason why American onions are so much bigger comes down to the variety. They're like a different breed of onion, but also the sunlight conditions. Grown in southern states where you have probably 2 to 3 times more sunlight annually than you do in most of Great Britain. so the onions can grow bigger, the produce can get bigger, grow differently. So I know that does not necessarily make it taste better at all. I'm not making that assertion. And I'm gonna saute these until they are nice and golden and not quite jammy, but pretty close. So the onions are about halfway done. The potatoes are fully cooked now, and it's time to make the mash. All right, that looks absolutely lovely. I'm just going to wrap this in a towel to help it keep a little bit warmer, so it's ready when we're ready for it. With these onions, a nice deep golden color. They're almost like fully jammed, but they're not quite there. So I think that's a good spot. I'm adding 30 grams of plain flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh black pepper. I'm adding in my 400 milliliters of beef stock. I'm just bringing this up to a boil, letting it thicken. All of the individual components for the toad are completed. The mash is done, the gravy is done, so I think it's time to get to making the actual toad itself. This time I'm going to be using this cast iron skillet. I got this idea from Delia Smith, who says it's best to use a heavy cast iron dish if possible, so I can get this nice and screaming hot. It is round. I think I would prefer a squared off one, so I'll have to work on getting something like that. But for now, I think using this round cast iron skillet is going to be my best bet for the toad. I want to start by cooking the sausages. This recipe does say to cook the sausages in a separate pan than you're making the toad. But while the sausages are browning on the outside, I have the oven preheating to 425 degrees Fahrenheit to get it nice and hot. And I'm going to take the skillet that I'm cooking my toad in, and I'm going to put it in there to get really hot. I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of beef tallow in here. So this is going into the oven to preheat to screaming hot temperature, 425, and it's about to get noisy because I'm going to have to turn the vents on. Otherwise, every single air quality alarm in this place is going to start screaming at me. With the pan heating, the sausages getting a little bit of color to them, let's go ahead and season the Yorkshire pudding batter right now. Just a little bit of fresh pepper and some salt. The oven's at temp. I'm just going to whisk this a little bit to make sure it's a nice consistency and a nice thickness. It says it should be the consistency of light cream. That might be just a little bit too thick. All right, well, God help me. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. I don't have any more milk. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to lighten the consistency slightly. All right, just a little bit lighter. I think I'm gonna go with that. Now, another trick I got from reading Delia Smith is with the Yorkshire pudding, the pan that you're gonna cook it in, not only do you want to heat it up in the oven, but when it's time, you can put it on the stovetop on a burner with the burner on when you're adding the sausages and the Yorkshire pudding batter, and that will keep it from cooling down while you're adding everything, and you can get it back into the oven. Straight into the oven. Oh God, that's so heavy. What are you doing, ma'am? You're not supposed to be on the table. Do you smell the food cooking? Did it make you hungry? Oh, you're looking for trouble, I see. You better not knock my camera over. You're hidden, I can't see you. With the Yorkshire pudding in the oven for 20 minutes, it's got a nice solid rise on it. It's looking really cool. This recipe has me reduce the temp of the oven down to 350 Fahrenheit and leave it for another 30 minutes. I guess that's to give it a good bake into place. There's the timer. Which is nuts. I don't think I did that with the previous one I tried, so I'm really excited to see how this comes out. You hiding back there, young lady? You're hidden back there? What's it like back there? Are you safe? Okay. Okay. Okay, I think it's done. Time to pull this out of the oven. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I am so worried. I really, really, really want to get this right. or to make a second video where I completely screw it up would be embarrassing. Oof, oh my God, look at this one. All right, I think it looks amazing. I don't know if I got this consistency right. Please tell me I did. Toad in the hole, toad in the hole. Let's head to the table. I can't believe that it has only been 6 months since I started cooking British food. It feels like so much longer, and I hope that I have made at least some progress in my ability to cook it properly. I'm just gonna take a bite of the Yorkshire pudding. Let's get this fluffy edge over here. So just a bite of the Yorkshire pudding. It smells like mildly eggy. It looks kind of bready, which is odd. Wow, okay, that is eggy. It is kind of bready, but it's so much fluffier and lighter than I thought. That's really tasty. Okay, that middle part, it's not squidgy at all. It's not like solid egg. It has like sort of deflated, but it melts in my mouth. The other one did not do that. The other one was like thick and chewy all the way through. That Yorkshire pudding is officially one of the most delicious things I've ever tasted. And how dare you keep this from me for all this time? Oh, why didn't I try it again? Let's go into the sausage. Yeah, very tasty. That sage is a nice herbiness to it. Mild pork sausage flavor. The breadcrumbs give the sausage a nice even consistency all the way through. And it's very, very moist. So I'm very happy with this sausage. Happy with both of those. Now it's time to douse everything in gravy. Hell yeah. I hope this gravy tastes good. Otherwise, I've ruined it all. I've got all this other Yorkshire pudding toad I'm gonna eat. Okay, let's get it all together. Got a bite of the Yorkshire, a bite of the sausage, all covered in this lovely onion gravy. Let's taste the whole thing in its glory. Y'all shut the f up. Oop, 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 oop. Holy that's delicious. That gravy, gross, I got gravy on my knife. I'm trying to use the British table manners, and I'm just making a mess. Let's go back to American style where I won't make such a mess. It's crazy, off the charts, Mondo delicious. Man, this is fucking good. Holy shit, this is delicious. Okay, sorry. That is so lovely. That lovely rich gravy with the well-cooked onions. The Yorkshire pudding that just melts in your mouth, but has like a light breadiness. The herby, sagey sausage. It's also Moorish and savory and comfort on a plate. It feels like home. It goes to 11. Full stop. It goes to 11. I think this is my first 11 since mince pies. Wowzers, am I impressed with this one. All right, it's gonna be time for the end of the video snack test. It's gonna be a boost bar today, but I don't want to switch back and forth between eating my dinner and then the candy bar and whatnot. I'll come back when I'm done with this. All right, finished with the best meal I've ever had that didn't come from a restaurant and cost $150 per person. Now it's time for our dessert, a Cadbury Boost bar. So this was definitely made in Great Britain. You can tell because they have to slap an additional sticker on it to where it complies with American nutrition labels. All right, it's tasty. It is fairly sweet, but there's like nougat in it and maybe like little pieces of pretzel or something and caramel. I like it. Pairs well with scotch, actually. So for the Boost bar, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's better than a stick in the eye. I would probably pick one of these up again if I saw it when I'm visiting Britain. That is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future.